People named it a miracle. Well, it truly was a miracle, no question about it, that we evacuated close to 250, the figure varies, I don't recall, but it was the largest evacuation in North America at the time. And the people, when they were asked to leave, they left very cooperatively and didn't cause any problems. But they were well cared for. For instance, the fire department, under the leadership of Gord Bentley, got the keys to people's houses and went in and made sure if they had left a roast in the oven that nobody burned it out. And they fed the animals that were left. Think about it. They fed the animals that were left in the homes, right? I mean, that is exceptional when you think of it. And then we didn't have any raids on the houses by criminals breaking in, because the OPP arranged for a helicopter to be soaring. And of course, with people out, if somebody was out on the street, they would be very noticeable with the homes vacant. But as I say, it was more than a miracle that nobody was hurt, nobody lost their life, and even the firemen and policemen were not harmed in any way, believe it or not. The only person who had a little accident was the mayor, going to a press conference outside of the control center. It was in the fall and the grass was kind of wet, and when I went down I slipped, and that was it. So, no hospital for me to go to. I had to go to the Queensway in Mississauga to get my leg examined, etc. But it was a miracle in more ways than one. Canada, the communities of Canada are safer since the Mississauga derailment. First of all, the control over the transportation of dangerous goods by land, air, and sea was very, very limited. The Federation of Canadian Municipalities appointed me to meet with the federal government that set up a commission to look at the Mississauga derailment. And now the regulations are about this high. And therefore the control of dangerous goods by road, by rail, by sea, and by air is under control. That came out of the Mississauga derailment. Before that, it didn't exist. Secondly, we had an emergency plan, as Gord knows, but it's much improved since then. It helped us considerably as we dealt with it. And then the province legislated as a result of the Mississauga derailment that every municipality must have an emergency plan. Many didn't have it. So again, secondly, Gord and I and the police chief were sued by the CPR. They felt we had kept the people out too long. Now there's legislation that prevents the mayor from being sued, or the fire chief, if they declare an emergency. Again, legislation. So, as I say, it's more than a miracle that nothing happened seriously, but it accomplished so many things that it has been contributed to Canada, not just Ontario, to Canada. And so we can all be very proud of it. And then Gord, the fire chief, the police chief, and the mayor's office was absolutely swamped with calls from all over the world asking us to tell them how we did it. So I approached the province with the support of Gord and the fire and the police chief and said to the province, we can't handle this. And so the province agreed to call a summit and invite people from all over the world, and they came. So we could give them one session of the education of how we handled it. And one of the keys to it was communication. I can rest assured that the information that I was asked many times to advise the public through the TV, radio, and the printed press was the facts. We hid nothing. We told the people exactly how serious it was, etc. And in fact, not counting on the press doing their job correctly, as sometimes they do twist it, we monitored the press. We monitored the radios, we monitored TV and the printed press to make sure that was given to the people was what we said, and that it could not be added to, because sometimes the press likes to create, excitement. Well, there's nothing excited about this. And so communication was a huge success. But I can assure you, it put Mississauga on the world now. There's no. Now the trains, the couplings on the trains, Judge August did a complete review. The couplings on the trains has been changed. There's no caboose now at the end of a freight train. It's digital. And hot box detectors are at the entrance of every urban center in Canada on the rail to detect a hot box. And when I often think of the wheel that came off that train, how far did it go, Garth? Way over in the field that houses are there now.
Around Wolfdale, so
Yeah.
it went 3/4 of a mile or a mile
The
before it
wheel
really
went,
derailed.
and that was vacant land, which is now occupied by houses. So it was a miracle in more ways than one. And our police department and our fire department were given world accord for the job that they did. It was the fire chief, no, the deputy fire chief at the time was at a function, a gala. He didn't go home to change into his outfit. He showed up at the derailment in his tuxedo. I remember that so
Right
well.
behind you, right on the,
Yeah,
right there.
there he is.
Yeah.
Secondly, I never went to bed for 3 nights. I never slept for 3 nights. People say, well, how did you do it? I don't think you did either. Yeah, you just...
4 days.
Here you have all your people out of the city, or most of them, out of the city. The only 2 areas that weren't evacuated was Streetsville and Malton. They seemed, because the wind didn't blow that way. It was so well organized and etc. So we won world acclaim for our, but the people were wonderful. I remember the grocery stores. They opened up their Johnson, IGA in Streetsville. They just opened up and they said, come on in and get whatever you want, free of charge. Think about it. The drugstores, because of all these people at Square One without their prescription, drugstores opened up to fill the prescriptions of people that had left their prescription at home. You know, it took an emergency to really bring the whole area together. And by the way, people came from the 50 ambulances, or 80 ambulances, came from as far away as what, London?
London, Kingston, and Niagara Falls.
Niagara, to remove the people from the hospital. Think about it. I remember going down and I saw these ambulances all lined up. It was just huge. I felt, where did they come from? Secondly, municipalities, Guelph, Kitchener, Waterloo, London, Barrie, I know, I can't name, even Red Deer, Alberta phoned to say, can we send some firemen? They wanted to send firemen down to help us. But people responded, but these municipalities phoned me and said, you know, we'll open up our community centers, we'll open up our arenas, just send your people here, we will look after them. So it truly is a story that, and by the way, I have to say to the city staff, and maybe I should have done it when I was mayor, but the recognition of that site is a little postage stamp plaque. Nobody sees it, the weeds grow up around it. There should be a huge plaque there recognizing the miracle. And I hope maybe the staff that is here, our wonderful staff from the city, and it's my fault really, because I should have done that when I was mayor. But I just didn't think about it. The heritage people, not the Mississauga heritage, the provincial heritage people put that plaque there. It's just a little thing, and it was such a big thing that happened there. And there should be some more major recognition of it, because I can't believe how everybody, this week I've been absolutely busy with interviews from the TV, from radio and such, because they realized it is the 40th anniversary, but beginning to realize how important that derailment was, in which Canada has benefited from the review of what happened and the changes that have occurred in legislation that now protects people.